Hello and welcome to the Professional Services JavaScript training. My name is Andrew Trainer, a Solutions Consultant on the Advanced Integrations team. I'll be presenting the training videos for this course. So quickly, a couple goals for this course: to provide JavaScript training using PayPal products. You should have already went through and completed some online training on the basics of JavaScript. So this training is going to be very product focused. We're going to do some JavaScript integration training, show you how to integrate the latest PayPal JavaScript products. We're going to do JavaScript troubleshooting, specifically for our new JavaScript products using Chrome DevTools. You should have had some initial online training using Chrome DevTools, and this will build upon that using PayPal products. And most importantly, it's going to provide an application that you can build on in the future. So when we're done with this training, you will have a full-fledged JavaScript application that you can continue to develop in the future, build in new functionality, so you can keep up to date with your JavaScript development. A quick disclaimer, the early sections of this training build up to using Checkout.js version 4. So you may ask yourself why the training does not start with Checkout.js, but it will make sense when we get there, I promise you. So stick out the first few sections because it'll all make sense later. All right, our development environment. So our training application is located on GitHub at this address. It's a Node.js application that can run on any environment that you can install Node.js on. For this training, I will be using c9.io to deploy the training application. Evidently for new users, Cloud9 now requires a credit card number. They don't charge you unless you upgrade, so it's your choice if you want to use Cloud9 or deploy the training application somewhere else. Everything should work, but it's only been tested with Cloud9. I would suggest, if you're not familiar with Node.js or JavaScript in general, that you just deploy the application to Cloud9, as it may be a little bit more difficult to get the application to work in another environment. So Cloud9 setup. So first, you need to log into your C9 environment, create a workspace, and then name the workspace Training 2017, and then add the following into the clone from Git or Mercurial URL, and then select Node.js and create workspace. So if you haven't had a chance to type that in, please pause the video now because I'm going to go through and show you exactly what to do. All right, so if I go to C9, I'm going to create a new workspace. So I'm going to call it Training 2017 Training App, and then github.com 2017.git. Then I'm going to select Node.js. Then I'm going to select Create Workspace. It's going to take some time to create the workspace, so you should just go ahead and pause the video right now and wait for the workspace to be created. All right, so now once the workspace is has been created, you're going to see a screen similar to this. So just to go over a couple things with C9, you will have at the bottom of your screen the terminal. So the C9 terminal is a Unix shell where you can execute commands. You can think of this as our server for this training exercise. It's located at the screen's bottom. So you can do any sort of Linux commands in here. So I could ls, I could cd. All right, so the first thing we need to do in a Node.js application is execute npm install. But first, we actually need to upgrade the npm version on our C9 workspace. So we're going to do npm install npm-g. Pull this up a little. All right, so once that command's done running, we are going to execute the npm install Node.js command, which is going to read this package.json file and pull in all the dependencies that our app requires. The npm install command is going to take a couple minutes to complete. You'll see some output to the console at the bottom of the screen when it's done. Please pause the video until you see it. All right, so the next thing we can see here is that this node modules folder was just added to our folder structure, and that's where all those dependencies that our application requires goes for our Node.js application. So over here, this is the file viewer. You can see all the files that this application currently has in it. So for this training, we are going to be working almost exclusively in the client folder. The very first section, you'll do a couple things in the promises folder, and then we'll also do some configuration, but that should be all that we have to do in the actual source folder. The source folder is more of the server side. All right, so the server-side application, I'm going to go over that real quick just as a high-level overview. It's a Node.js application based off the PayPal Kraken module, which is an open source module developed by PayPal to help expedite creating Express applications in Node.js. So you can go to krakenjs.com in order to research Kraken a little more. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open the file source config.json. So this is the configuration file for the application. First off, you're going to want to change the username under Cloud9 to your username for Cloud9. So whatever you signed up as, go ahead and change that now. And then if you did not name your workspace that you created Training 2017, you'll need to put your new workspace name in this field. So the rest of the configuration is, here's all the PayPal and Braintree SDKs we're going to be using. So for this training, just leave these configured as they are. In the future, if you want to build onto this application, you can put your own sandbox accounts in here and hook this application up to your own sandbox accounts. And then the rest of the configuration is all for Kraken. We won't do anything with that in this training. So just a quick overview of how the server side works. This routes folder is where all of our kind of server side or web service API logic is going to go. So Kraken has a feature that it'll actually parse through a folder and just automatically create basically API endpoints or server routes for you. So the application is looking at this routes folder, and then any folder underneath it is going to be a subdirectory. So right now, Kraken's going to go into this folder here, and it's going to say, all right, so now I have a route /Braintree. So if we open Braintree, okay, so now I have another one /sale. So Braintree /sale would go here. And then we have an index page, which we're saying router.get. So any get requests that are made to Braintree sale are going to hit this page and actually do this logic. Same thing for the rest of them. So there's also a route for PayPal. We do PayPal. So this is PayPal Classic. Set Express Checkout index, which is probably a get. That's normally what I do. So we got router.get. So if we did an HTTP GET request to PayPal /classic /set express checkout, it would land us in this route. So that's just more of an explanation of how the backend works. So in the future, you can add new routes if you want to. We won't be doing any of this for this training, but it's good to know that you can do that in the future because you might want to build onto this application. All right, and then another portion of the script or the application is this package.json file. And it's important to note that the scripts portion of the package.json are executable, scripts that can be run on the application. So most of the time when you create a Node.js application, you'll have this scripts portion and it'll tell you what functionality is available to the application. So I can run npm run test and it's going to run this. I can do npm run clean and it's going to do this. Then I can do npm run build and it's going to do this. So for this training, we'll only need to worry about npm start :dev. That's what we're going to actually run to start our application. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to run npm, I'll clear first, npm start run start dev. All right, so once I execute that, you will see it actually just builds the application. So you'll see some output here, and if it's successful, it's just going to say server running on port 8080, and then it's going to give you this address here. So you'll want to copy this and open it up in a browser. This is where your actually application exists on the web. So this is what our training application looks like, and it just has some links here. If for some reason you can't get to this, and there's probably an error on the server somewhere in this console, there shouldn't be. But if you changed anything in the source folder, it could actually have an error. If you make any changes into the source folder itself, which you shouldn't be during this application, but in the future, you can just hit RS and it's going to restart the server and pull in the new changes for you. All right, so we should now have a working training application, and that is it for our very first video. The next section is going to be a very quick overview of JavaScript promises.